dreams were mine. We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines.
Hi friends, welcome back to the homestead. If you're new here, my name is Lynn, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. And welcome back to my kitchen, though we're not going to be cooking or baking or preserving or freeze drying anything in here today. Today, we're going to do a catch up. A lot has happened in the last few months on our homestead, and quite a few things are going to be happening this year. So we're going to take a few minutes, chat about all that, and get you all caught up. There's a lot of things happening this year that we are so excited about. So grab a cup of tea, a coffee, and let's go chat. If you do see me staring down a bit, it's because I have a lot of notes, because I don't want to forget anything that I want to talk with you all today. There's a lot to share. First of all, how cute is this mug that I found at our Dollarama? It's Dachshunds, and y'all know, love my Lily girl, our Dachshund. And we still are missing our Puggy boy, something terrible, and we'll talk a little bit more about what was happening there. The house doesn't feel quite the same. I mean, we had him for a little over 13 years, so it's you know, feels strange in the house. And he was our first child, our kid's dog. He was the very first dog the kids remember anyway. We did have other dogs when they were very small that David and I had before we had children, so they were older. And yes, Lily, I know you'd like to say hi, but you can't. So anyway, it's been hard, but okay. Let's start with maybe what's been happening on the physical homestead. Back in October, we had a weasel get into our coop, and Aiden and I thought we got out there in time, and we were looking all around, and just one second, Lily is being a bit of a pain. I love her, but she's very needy, and she's like, you're sitting, why can't I come up with you, because I'm at the table. Okay, so yeah, so Aiden and I thought we got out there in time, but unfortunately, it did get one of our girls, and of course, one of my favorites. It's always my favorite. We reinforced the coop. We did fencing, and things were really good for a little while until they weren't. And then, it was when we had our very first big snowfall, which I believe was in November-ish. No, it was right around Christmas. So yeah, things were good for quite a while, and then right when we had that big snowstorm just a few days before Christmas, David was out shoveling. He came around to the back where the coop is to shovel out Lily's pen and shovel a path to the coop, and he came running, telling me I needed to come quick. The weasel was back. So Aiden and I and David, we went out, and it took half our flock. Half our flock. I'm not gonna lie, it was a bloodbath. It was horrible thing to see. It was just terrible, because we take raising animals to provide for us either eggs, meat, whatever it is. We take it pretty seriously. We consider it, you know, a big responsibility. And when things like this happen, I just feel awful. I felt so bad for the chickens. I felt so bad for them. The 4 that were left were traumatized. So when people say animals can't feel it, oh yeah, these chickens were traumatized. Even Aiden made comments about how the chickens were really traumatized and not doing well. And we're like, well, we're gonna have to keep them in the coop till we can catch this thing. So we went and bought traps, and can I just tell you, traps are ridiculously expensive. I could not believe how expensive they were. That shocked me. But we went and did it, and we tried cat food, we tried liver, we tried sardines, we tried everything, and we could not catch this stinking weasel. Ermine is actually the technical name. We could not catch it, no matter what we did. Meanwhile, we lost one more chicken. We don't know, she survived for 2 more weeks after that initial attack, so we don't know if she had internal injuries, something, and it was one of the ones that we hatched out last spring, summer. The black one, the very, very, very first one that I called May, because she was born in May, and she was the very first one born. And we lost her. So we were down to 3. And I was a nervous wreck, like a nervous wreck. I was looking out here every 5 minutes to see if we caught it, if it was around, so I could alert the boys that it was out there. We tried everything. and we went and bought a light, or we had a light, so we put a light on in the coop, at least just during the daytime, so the chickens would have a little bit of normalcy to have light back, because at this point it had been 6 weeks and we'd had no eggs, and the 2 new chickens had started laying just a couple of weeks before the major attack. So we were getting, and I was getting very worried, like, are they getting egg bound, or what's going on? And we're like, so we start letting them come out while we were standing out there, but it was getting very, very cold here, so we couldn't stay out for too long with them. Not that they wanted to. Believe me, they did not want to come out. When I tell you these birds were traumatized, they were traumatized. And David and I had a long, hard talk, and I said, we cannot live like this. He's like, no, we can't. This is insane. We can't catch this thing. It's not fair to the chickens. It's not fair to us. So, gratefully and fortunately, Holly, my wonderful friend Holly, who is our leader of our Women in Homesteading group, she said, Lynn, we can take those 3 birds for you if you want. I said, would you? And she said, absolutely. So we brought them there. They're doing well. They're thriving. Holly has a much better reinforcement of a fence with her cow and our other chickens and stuff. And they've got cats, barn cats. So that's no more chickens. And I miss them. I miss them. I miss having eggs whenever I need an egg. Like, that's been weird, having to buy eggs again. I haven't had to buy eggs for a very long time. I look out there often thinking, oh, Lynn, they're not out there anymore. So Aiden got me a bird feeder for Christmas, and we've hung it out back. So that way I can still look out back here, and I can see right now there's a bunch of juncos out at the feeder. The cardinal pair has been there often the last couple of days. So I still am able to look out back, and that takes a bit of that. But I felt like a failure, an absolute failure at homesteading, at raising chickens, at everything. I felt just, yeah, like a failure, like we had done, because we couldn't reinforce it anymore because at this point the ground had gotten frozen, and we just couldn't figure out where it was getting in anymore. Like, we did everything we could, and we couldn't catch the thing. Could not catch the thing. And by the way, we haven't seen it since that main attack. Haven't seen it at all. So Holly, who is, I just love her. She's been such a blessing in my life. I will miss her. That might be a little spoiler to what's coming up. I will miss her a lot. Her advice, her mentorship, and just her friendship. But she said, Lynn, you did not fail. You did not fail. Unfortunately, these things happen. And people don't talk about a lot of the failures when it comes to homesteading. They just don't. We don't talk about them. And it's not 100% perfect all the time, and it's not always rosy, and animals die, and things kill animals, and you can do everything right and have an animal die and not know why. We've had chickens die on us and not know why. Fine 1 minute, gone the next. Like, you know, you do the best you can, and you just pray that it works out. It really humbled me. I will say that. It made us think, you know, I think maybe we were getting a little too overconfident in our homesteading skills, and it kind of brings you down a peg and lets you know that at the end of the day, you can do everything right, and this kind of stuff can still happen. So also in end of September, very beginning of October, we got back just before, a couple days before Canadian Thanksgiving, which I think was the 7th. David and I helped my mom move from Florida to Maine. That was a big trip, and honestly, it seems like we've been trying to scramble back into routine ever since then. I know that sounds crazy because it was months ago, but it just was something we normally don't do. I mean, we did, I can't even remember anymore. I think it was 16 states in 6 days or something like that, plus 2 provinces. Like, it was crazy. It's not something we normally do. And it was a very stressful trip, and that's all I'll say about that. It was very stressful. But also in the fall, Puggy, our pug that we lost, he was diagnosed with diabetes, and that was very stressful. When they talk about caretaking for humans, is very stressful, being a caretaker for someone who's ill or whatnot. And I mean, we've experienced that. At least David's experienced it, taking care of me when I had all my cancer battles. But caretaking a sick elderly pet is exhausting, physically and mentally. Because David and I, we had to get up early to give him his diabetic insulin, his shot, and we had to give it to him because they needed to be 12 hours apart. And we knew we couldn't give it to him at like 8 in the morning and then make them wait till 8 o'clock at night to eat. That wasn't going to happen. because we had to feed them both at the same time. It wasn't fair to Lily, and Pug would never last. So we would get up early, like at 5. David would give him his morning shot so we could feed him. And then Lily hated eating that early, hated it. And then that way we could give it to him 12 hours later around 5:36. And even that was hard because he did not like waiting that long. Pug was a creature of habit. Well, he was in this house, so habit, change is not anyone's friend in this house, even the animals. And he did not like waiting that long. That was hard. That was so hard. And it also meant that David and I could not be anywhere past a certain time in the evening because we had to be home to give him his shot. We did teach Aiden how to do it in case of an emergency. He wasn't real comfortable, but he knew if there was an emergency and he had to give it to him, he could. Grace could never do it. Never do it. She took care of his eating and helping keep track of all the notes for me that we had to keep track of, how often he was drinking water, how often he was urinating. She's great at that. So she took care of that part. But mentally, it was taking a toll on me. And when he started not being able to hold his bladder, and we were constantly worried about that, about puddles everywhere and ruining the floors and someone stepping in it and keeping up with it. And David was not, the last 2 weeks of Pug's life, David slept downstairs with him because he was waking up every 30-40 minutes to take Pug outside because it got that bad. And he just started going downhill. So that was a very rough season. We managed to make it through Christmas. That was our main thing. We wanted to make it through Christmas because Dave and I have lost a dog on Christmas Eve, and I did not want the kids to go through that. So we lost, we knew we had to make the decision in January, and it was hard. And the vet just sent us about a week ago, last week, I guess we got it. Oh my gosh. See if I can get it without knocking anything over. With everything that happened, in the state I was in, once he was gone, I just had to go out to the car so I could just sob. And a day or two later, I realized I forgot to ask the vet to do the paw print for him. And I was really disappointed. And I had made ornaments this Christmas out of air dry clay with both the dogs' paw prints, so I did have that. But I was like, oh, I didn't. And then in the mail, this came last week with a condolence card and a lock of his fur, with a really lovely card from the staff there. And yeah, so we have that now. The kids are talking about possibly getting his paw print tattooed. We loved him. They loved him. He was my cancer buddy. He knew when I was having a rough day, he would crawl up with me on the couch and just, he'd sleep right in the crook of my legs and put his head up on my hip and just look at me. And he knew before anyone else if I wasn't feeling well. So it's hard, right? Your fur babies are your fur babies, and it was so hard. We know we did the right thing, but doing the right thing doesn't mean it was the easy thing. We told the kids that several times. So we had to deal with that. So it's been a bit of a rough winter. And I mean, January is always long, but this January, literally, it did feel like 100 days. Like the kids and I were just talking. It was, between all the snowstorms we had and the ice and the snowstorms we had so much snow. We got 4 feet of snow in one storm. We broke records. So I'm sorry if it's a little washed out in here. I did open all the curtains because I just had to feel that sun. I mentioned earlier that we knew we were going to have to find a new home for the chickens sometime in spring, early summer anyway, because we are putting our house on the market. We're hoping to finish up what needs to be finished over the next 2-3 months and get it up for sale in May. If we can get it up sooner, we're going to try, but it's probably going to be May because, we're humans. We can only do so much, and David's still working. So we are putting our house up for sale. David is retiring 100% from the military. He won't even be reserve. David doesn't mind me mentioning this because it's nothing to be ashamed of. David has PTSD from his time in the service. And the last year, it has gotten harder for him, much harder. And I'm going to say that he doesn't have a lot of medical help from doctors or anything. They really dropped the ball with him. And that's a whole other thing I could make a video about and rant and be angry, but I'm not going to do that in this video. So we've been struggling with that also. And it's time. It's time for him to retire. So you're going to be seeing him a lot more on this channel when he does retire. It's going to become our channel, not just mine. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's funny how life changes quietly while you're grieving and going through things. And before you know it, you just realize, my gosh, our life is really changing. And just helping my mom move, being back home in our hometowns within a few months of going. Like we went in August for my dad's memorial service, and then we helped my mom move at the end of September, beginning of October. It feels like home. And if you're all from down east, you'll know what I'm talking about. It gets in your blood. I don't know if it's the ocean air or what it is, but there's just something about being down east you miss when you leave it. At least we have. And I've talked to other down easters who many were military and have retired, friends of ours, and they're back down east too. It's a slower pace of life down east. It's just, I don't know, the air smells different. We have the ocean. We love the ocean. I mean, I am, grew up in, playing in with the high tide. We have the highest and the lowest tides in the world down where we are. And going and looking in the little tide pools for the little the little crabs, the periwinkles and all that. And we did that with the kids when we lived in Nova Scotia, and they loved it. Loved it. We did it often. It was all we could afford to do because it was free. And yeah, we have lived away from family for over 30 years. And with my dad passing, which he wasn't coming back to Maine, in summers maybe, but not in the winter. But with my dad passing and just I have my mom now, and my mom and I are very close. I consider it a blessing that she's not just my mother, she's become my friend as an adult. I love her, and I want to be able to do all the things I hoped I'd be able to do when I was a little girl. When we got older, going to lunch together and doing up a bunch of things at Christmas time for family, having her come over and help me do some canning and just, having her over for Sunday dinner, and my in-laws, my mother and father-in-law, having them over for, Sunday dinners and different holidays and birthdays and just every day, and doing things for them. I'm really so excited to be able to do that. I'm stressed, but I'm also very excited. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of changes over the next few months here because we were putting the house up for sale. What does that mean for me? That means no garden this year. And what's great about moving is Dave and I are planning on doing homesteading bigger if we can. That is our dream, if we can find enough property. And what does that mean? I'm still going to have my big garden. We're going to have chickens again. We're going to do turkeys for meat for the holidays. We're hoping to maybe grow out 4 or 6 every year and have a few for us and maybe able to share a few with family or whatnot. We're even hoping to raise beef for ourselves, and then if it goes well, we have many people who have said they would love to buy grass-fed beef from us. That's something down the road. We're going to try it for ourselves first and see how it goes, but that's certainly something that we're thinking about. Just having peace and quiet. David especially needs it. Grace needs it. I have found lately, the last year or two, that noise has been my enemy. I've been told it can actually be part of menopause. I don't know, but noise has just been I've just had such a difficult time with it. And when we bought this homestead 11 years ago, almost 12, it'll be 12 years actually this year, that when we bought it, it was so quiet out here. And then the world ended in 2020, and people started realizing they could work from home and didn't need to live in the big cities anymore, and they all started moving out here. And we also became the emergency detour route for the 401, which is our insane highway here. You've heard me complain about it many times here. So, and there's always accidents near our exit, always. So we become the detour route, and people fly down this little road like they're still on the 401. It is petrifying. It got to the point where I don't think David and I sat out front once last summer in the mornings to have our tea like we usually did and just enjoy, because the cars were constant. Just constant. And I miss that. I love my front porch. That's one of the things that sold me on this house. It was the first thing we saw, this beautiful front porch. Sorry, I think I saw somebody pulling into my driveway. This beautiful front porch. As soon as we pulled up to it, I saw it and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good one. Just because of the front porch. I got to admit though, real quick, I am not looking forward to buying again, looking for a house, because this one took us a long time, and so far we're not having any luck. But I know it's this time of year, so our realtor, that's why we went on that trip a couple weekends ago. If you're all wondering why we suddenly, it seemed, went on that trip to Maine and New Brunswick, it was because we were meeting with our realtor and getting an idea of what's out there, letting her know what we want, driving around the different areas, just to kind of, you know, remember, because it's been a long time since we've lived down there, where everything was, what places we don't want to live in, how far we want to be from family and stuff. So I'm not looking forward to that part at all, because I'm worried we're not going to find what we need in our budget. That's what I'm worried about. And I'm worried about selling this house just because things have slowed down. We should have done this a couple years ago, but anyway. So we're really excited to be moving. I'm excited for the kids because, one, they're going to be so much closer to family, which will be a slow introduction. You know, I'll know Grace has autism, which has, you know, its challenges, and she's very excited to be closer to my mom, because her and my mom are close too. She's like, Mommy, we can like take Nanny to lunch and have her over for supper and Christmas, and she's so excited. And for Aiden, we're very excited because he is going, we were talking to the realtor, and he is not going to have a problem finding a job there. She said they can't get people to work down there, and he'll have his pick probably of jobs when he puts his resumes in. So he's excited about that, about the possibility, because it's not happening here. It is not happening here. I cannot tell you how many jobs this child has applied for. And he does have a job. He works at the Dollar Tree here, but he's lucky if he gets 8 hours a week. Like, it's insane. So he's excited for that. We're excited for that until he decides what he wants to do, right? Like, until he decides. And there is a college where we're moving to, where he could go to if there are the things that he needs for learning that he could do. So I pray it's going to be good. When we bought our house, and I would say out loud, oh, we're never moving again, this is our final, you know, this is our forever home, I would always hear in my mind, because Dave and I never planned on staying here in Ontario. We always planned on moving back east when we were retired. We didn't know what that was going to look like, how old we would be, but that was always the plan until I got cancer. And it kind of put things in perspective. And we said, okay, we don't want to live in military housing anymore, and that's when we bought this house. But I don't regret buying this house, because hopefully it's going to give us the financial freedom to buy our next place and actually, you know, get what we want and live where we're happier. So, yeah, a lot of stuff going to be happening. A lot of stuff. Going to be a whole new chapter. I mean, you know, one bad thing is the kids and I, David doesn't, but the kids and I do have a family doctor here. We won't, where we're going. Luckily, we're all fairly healthy, though Aiden is having some problems with his Tourette's, and we've been waiting months to see the specialist about one of the tics that he's having that is kind of affecting a little bit of the quality of his life. We've been waiting since September, I think it is, August or September, to see them. So we're really hoping we see them before we move, because we don't know what's going to happen when we move for that. We might have to call and beg them to see us before we move. Grace very rarely goes to the doctor. So I myself only have to go for a check-in for my blood pressure medicine. So luckily we don't have any, and my oncologist here seems to think I would be moved up on the list for a family doctor where we're going because of my history. I don't know if that's necessarily true. We'll see, but that's one negative, but it's not enough to stop us from going, because there are walk-in clinics and things like that. So, you know, if I need to have my prescription renewed, hopefully I can just do it there. I'm hoping to get enough renewed here before we go, so that I don't have to worry about it right away. Hopefully I can get off it altogether, because I'm back on my wellness kick, working out again, trying to lose some weight, though I've been told that my blood pressure has nothing to do with weight. It's to do with the blood clots I got during chemo, the second time I had cancer. So who knows if I'll ever be able to get off it, quite frankly. I am on a new one that's a lot better than how I was feeling, so that's positive. So yeah, so moving means no garden this year. You're not going to see any gardening. You're not going to see, I shouldn't say that. You might see very little, because I still have like some herbs and things that will come back on their own, which I'm taking with me. I'm so happy I put those in pots last year. And you're going to see us getting the garden ready for the new people moving in. What that means is I'm taking all my raised beds. We have thousands of dollars invested in all those raised beds. I don't have the money to do it again, especially with us moving and David retiring fully. It does mean we're going to have a bit of a drop in finances, so in income. So I'm not buying them all again. What I am going to do though is when we take them out, all the soil, which is amazing soil, I'm going to leave in perfect little rectangles. So if people moving in want to plant, they can, and they'll already have the soil, and they can either put raised beds or they can plant right in the soil, because we do have weed barrier and all that down in there. So we will be taking the raised beds. My herb garden, all my pots out there will be coming with us, because a lot of those plants are coming back every year, so we'll just be moving them. I laughed because I told David I want to dig up our little apple trees that we planted that we haven't seen anything, our cherry tree, and he's like, we can't move like everything on the homestead. I'm like, why not? So, but I'm definitely going to be taking some cuttings of my elderberry trees this spring to bring with me. If I thought I could dig up one whole one and bring it with us, I might. We're going to see if that will work. So yeah, and I'm a little sad because y'all know the garden is my happy place. It's where I feel closer to God, and I just so enjoy being out there. But I'm excited in a way too, because so many of you who watch, oh, it's snowing, lovely. So many of you who watch also do not have gardens, or a very limited garden. And I'm excited to show you how I'm still planning on preserving all these months, because filled jars are just as easy to move as empty jars. And I can't take away both things that bring me joy. Gardening and preserving are two of the things that bring me joy. And I can't take away both those things this spring and summer. So I'm excited to show you how I'm going to still be preserving by utilizing my local farmers and the ladies in my Women in Homesteading group who sell their produce and things. I'll be buying from them. So not only will I still be getting amazing quality vegetables, produce and things, but I'll be supporting my friends. The women in my group who I absolutely adore. I love being able to do that and being able to share that with you, to show that there are other ways you can still preserve, still put healthy food on your shelves, still save money, even if you can't have a garden right now or ever. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to do that. Kind of gives me a little bit of a boost in creativity and just, to bring other ways, because I love preserving food, whether it's freeze drying or canning or pressure canning, whatever it is. I adore. That's just it's I feel very strongly about it. So I love sharing with it, because I know seeing all those filled jars on my shelves, they make me so happy. And I feel so accomplished, and I know what's in those jars and what's not. As I often say, I know what's in them and what isn't, which is just as important. And saving money, because man, we all can save money. Been to the grocery store lately? Crazy. I thought the car coming. We actually, speaking of groceries, have a Walmart delivery scheduled today. I love the Walmart delivery, and I'm going to tell you why. I often myself complain about technology and how I do believe a lot of it has been a very negative in this world. It really has been. I mean, and I say that as a content creator, but it has been. I think we all can admit some of it certainly has been a negative in this world, but some of it certainly has its positives. And for someone like our daughter Grace, who is autistic and who has a difficulty going out in public, interacting with people, just being out of the house can be difficult some days. This Walmart delivery has been a blessing for her. She is able to go on, make her own list, and I just give her my phone and say, hey, add what you want to the Walmart delivery, because it's my account. She just adds it all that she needs. She has mixed up a couple of things because she doesn't always read all the description, but it's so convenient for her, and makes her life easier and gives her a little bit more independence, because she's not relying on someone taking her to the store or going and picking things up for her. So I am loving it. Now, that being said, our David's hometown where we're moving to does not have a Walmart. We have one across the border over in my hometown of Calais, which we will absolutely use, but you have to be within a 15-mile radius of getting Walmart delivery. But I can still have my Canadian Walmart account and have it delivered to my mother. So we'll still be able to do that, and just, you know, if she's coming over, I'll know I'll put an order in and she'll just bring it over for us. So that's, you know, we'll still be able to have it. But until then, we are using it often and love it. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend. We've had no issues. The drivers who've been delivering have been lovely. The people who pick it up, they let you know when they're getting ready to start and if there's substitutions or whatever. We've even had them, because my main thing was like I didn't know if I wanted somebody picking out like my produce for me. And so far they have been amazing at it. Gracie was really worried about that too, because she has apples every day. And they've been picking out beautiful apples, so no problems there. So highly recommend. Totally off a tangent there, but highly recommend if you are thinking of doing Walmart delivery. I love it. Absolutely love it. So I'm excited to show you homesteading without a big garden this year, and how I'm going to be still preserving, because I just cannot preserve, which kind of leads me up to the video you'll see next week, which will be my final freeze-dried February collaboration video, how I'm also preparing for the move by freeze drying. So that's all I'll say for that. That's been fun filming. That's going to take several weeks to film. So yeah, I cannot not preserve. It's not going to happen. So a couple of things I want to let you know what's happening with the channel. Next month is a March Canning Madness that Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread hosts every year, and she opened it as an open collaboration a couple years ago. She's going to have giveaways, all that. I'll talk more about it when we're actually there, but I've already been planning things that I'm low on from the pantry challenge, especially that I'll be canning in the month of March. So March Canning Madness will be coming up. And yeah, just, the craziness that's going to go into. We can get the things we need to get done in the house now, and then that's why we're waiting to May, because we know we need to do some things outside, a lot of things, you know, curb appeal and all that, and get some different things done. We weren't going to put it up for sale until the end of summer, because technically David is retiring in September, though because he's a reserve, he can retire pretty much anytime, 30 days notice. So if we get full asking on our house right away, we're probably going to retire right away. Like he'll probably put in for his 30 days immediately, and if we can find a house. So we'll be making another trip down. I know we will be when the houses start coming up on the market. We did find a place we love, absolutely love, at least from the pictures. It has 20 acres, which is what we would love to have. I mean, we can get more, we will, but we'd like to have a minimum of 20. We're willing to go to 10. But it's got lots of room. It's got a way for us to make an in-law suite for Grace, and even Aiden, until Aiden can live out, until he can afford to live out on his own. But we don't know if Grace will ever live 100% on her own, so we're planning for that. But the price tag is insane, even though the house has been up for sale for 2 years, and our realtor said she actually had it as a listing in the beginning, and he will not take $1 less than asking. So that's why it's been on the market for 2 years, and it would take us getting absolutely what we get, 100% what we want for this house, the profit we would take, plus every bit of savings we have to buy this house. And I don't want to leave us like that. I don't want to leave us like that. So pray for us, please, that we find the perfect for us home with the property. Please, if you believe in prayer, I do. I appreciate if you say a prayer for us that we get what we want for this house and everything goes smoothly and we find what we need, because I am losing sleep over this. You could probably tell. I have quite a bit of makeup on today to hide it, but I'm not sleeping well because I am so stressed and worried about it. And just the amount of things that still need to be done around here, it's overwhelming some days. It really is. I know it will be better in the end. And I often say, give it to God, give it to God, give it to God. I struggle with giving my worries to God. I ask him to help me every night to figure out how I do that. But I'm trying. I'm trying to give it to God and just trusting in him that we will find the perfect place. We will. David's very optimistic about it. And I'm just going to have to trust the Lord that we will find the perfect place. Okay, friends, I think that's everything I wanted to catch you up on. I'm just looking at my notes here, and yeah, we are very excited. even if it is stressful, we're very excited, and just it feels right to know that we are going to be closer to family. David's parents, you know, and my mom, they're getting older, and his dad has been in bad health for several years, and you know, they're not here forever, and we've missed a lot being a military family over the last 3 decades, and I can't get a lot of that back. You know, I've lost all my grandparents now, and my dad, and cousins, and I don't want to waste any more time. I want to be closer. You know, we had to do what was right for us as a family all these years, but now we can, you know, we're lucky enough that we're able to choose a little bit more. Oh, that bird almost flew into the door. That scared me. Now we can, you know, we're fortunate enough that maybe we can choose what we want instead of what the military tells us what we want. Sorry, I think the Walmart delivery might be here and Lily heard it. But yeah, we're excited. We're excited for the future. I'm happy for the kids, so much for the kids. I really think this is going to be the best for them. I really do, especially Grace, because it is a slower paced place. There won't be as many people when we go out anywhere. I think, you know, and help her slowly get used to family and things, I think will be wonderful for her. My sister also is in my hometown, so it'd be nice to reconnect with her again. I want to kind of get the relationship we used to have back, so that will be wonderful. I have a nephew and a niece who's still there, so it would be nice to get to know them a little bit more. Oh, so yeah, prayers are appreciated. We appreciate them, we feel them, we appreciate them, so thank you in advance for that. And that is all the update, I guess, for what's been happening here. It was a lot. It was a lot, and I thank you all. Oh, by the way, I reached 26,000 subscribers this week, so thank you all so much. I was like literally considering I'm not going anywhere with this channel, and I could feel it. I could feel I wasn't enjoying it. I was not enjoying it as much because I was stuck at the same amount of subscribers for I think a year and a half, maybe even, it's been a while that I've just been stuck there, and I'd gain a bunch and I'd lose them. I gain them, I lose them, I gain them, I lose them. And I really got wrapped up in that and the algorithm and YouTube, because you know, they email you and they push all these things at you, memberships and super thanks and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's it. I am not doing it for that anymore. And I think it's showing because I feel more excited, which I think is coming through in my videos, and you all seem to be appreciating that. So I say it all the time, but I don't have any other words but to say thank you so much. We're grateful. Last month was one of the best months I'd ever had financially on YouTube. I say that, it's not like I made thousands of dollars, but it's the most I ever made, which right now every dollar helps in this economy and with all the plans we have planning. So I appreciate it so much. And my other channel, Hooked and Steeped with Lynn. If you haven't checked it out, I'll leave the link down below in the description box for that. That's been growing really well, and I think that has helped give me my drive and joy back on this channel. So, and going to 1 video a week. Who knew going to 1 video a week would be better for my channel than trying to do 3 a week? I wish I'd known that sooner. That's it, friends, for today's video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I'm not trying to obsess about the algorithm as much anymore, but the thumbs up do help. It doesn't cost you anything. You just hit that little thumbs up. If you really like my channel, the easiest way, and it costs you nothing to help my channel, is to share on your social media with friends and family. And if you have the hype option, I don't. None of us here in the house have the hype option. We did get it the first week it came out. I said, oh, we had hype, and then it gone. I've never seen it again. I don't know what's going on. I thought maybe it wasn't because we're in Canada, but I've had other Canadian people tell me that they have it. So if you do have the hype, please put that hype button. That's really working. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. YouTube tells me that 75% of you who come back and watch my videos are not subscribed. So apparently it bothers them. Until then, take care, God bless, and we'll see you all soon.